How my wife got me into two-channel listening. Now, don't kid yourself. I've owned a lot of stereo equipment in my life, but my wife is very sick. Very, very sick. And I don't mean cancer. I don't mean, Lou Gehrig's disease. Totally autoimmune, totally not fixable. Not even fixable. And the truth is the doctors over the years have made so many mistakes and so many misdiagnoses, and she has lost so many organs that, I had to give up all my hobbies. I had to keep my hobbies at home. I had to reinvent myself, really. And I pretty much had to kind of take myself away from people, like I really had to take myself away from people. I found that, people sometimes are like, oh, how's your wife doing? And then, you tell them and they just kind of walk away, and that's that. You know that it just isn't that real. And, COVID came, and she was really sick during COVID, had a stroke. She's missing her pancreas, she's missing her spleen, she's missing most of her stomach. She had a real problem with that valve on the bottom of her stomach. She has to take certain pills just in order to digest food, all kinds of different things. And she's been inches away from death. She's been in a coma, 5 different times, sometimes for a day, sometimes for 10 days, and sometimes she wakes up and it takes 2 to 3 to 4 months to even remember anything she really ever did. And it's kind of funny in a sense, because sometimes she comes home she never really leaves home unless she's in the hospital. But I'll come home from work, and she'll be watching a show, and I'll be like, oh yeah, you just being nostalgic? And she'll be like, what do you mean? I said, well, you're watching this show. And I'm like, I'm kind of waiting for her response, and she just says, well, I don't know, I've never seen it before. It's amazing what a stroke can do. Anyway, I used to rebuild motors. I used to blacksmith quite a bit. I used to do a lot of woodwork. I even used to build speaker cabinets. I do construction for a living. And don't kid yourself. I still have to go to work every day. The bills never stop coming. And but how did I and why did I have to change my hobby to two-channel listening? Well, I didn't have to, but it was the next step of my evolution. The next step in what I would want to do with, I'm 50, and I love music. And I've got a stereo in my garage, and I've got a stereo sitting in front of me, a home theater system. And I've got a home theater system that you can probably hear going on upstairs, because my wife is always watching something, because that's about all she can do, And I've completely pulled myself away from people. And I really I got rid of Facebook. I just was like, oh my God, this negative world. I have enough negativity in my house, never mind this world. So the long and the short of the story is my wife is going to die. And it may be 6 months from now, it might be 2 years from now. She might even surprise me and live another 5. I have no idea. But we have been so close to death so many times that I don't have any faith in our medical system, and I've been preparing for quite some time. So the two-channel system was part of the preparation. And don't kid yourself, I've owned a lot of two-channel stuff, but I've never ever really focused on it, and I've never ever done critical listening. And you probably noticed that I always say I like Tool a lot. Well, the truth is Tool is my wife's favorite band. So, and I've loved them too since I was a kid, but I really started studying them over the last 2, 3 years. And, the truth is that's the enjoyment that I get in my life because in my heart, it's on fire most of the time. I don't have fight or flight anymore. I just have fight and I have fight. There is no flight. If there's a problem, I'm there. If there's an issue, I'm there. I've been watching a lot of different divorce things on YouTube because they pop up from time to time. They're normally like shorts, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And, the guy never gives his wife a second chance, or the wife never gives the guy a second chance or nothing. They're just out, and they've made that decision. But the truth is when you marry a woman, you got to hang in there. Because for better or worse, I'll be honest with you, it's been worse and worse and worse and worse and worse for the last 8 years. There's really nothing left good about our relationship other than the fact that we still have it. And we still communicate. And every once in a while, she'll burn something on the stove. Like this morning. I walked up to a smell, waking up at 6 o'clock a.m., and I walked upstairs and there was something almost on fire on the stove. And one of her alarms was ringing because I have a lot of apps connected to her. A lot of little things sticking on her body that tell me on my phone if she's doing all right. So that woke me up this morning. And it's Sunday. And that's the one day I'd like to sleep in. But you know what? I don't anyway because I'm 50. I just wake up early every day. It's just the way it is. Anyway, I want to be there for my wife right till the bitter end because I made a promise. And I think that the stereo itself will probably save my life after it's all said and done. And that is how my wife got me into 2-channel listening once again. It's all completely subconscious. It was totally preparation. And I realize this is a sad story, but it's my story and it's a true story. And it sucks. More than you'll ever know. She was my high school sweetheart. She used to be a runway model in New York. I live in Canada. She traveled the world. She was beautiful. And now she's 90 pounds. And she watches TV. And I still love her. Just as much as I did when she was 15. And I want to be with her until her final moment, or mine. Because that's what marriage is. Anyway, a lot of people ask me how my wife's doing because I mentioned it in some of my shorts. Well, that's how my wife's doing. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Thanks.